In my online business, I spend a lot of time looking at what people are searching when they go onto the internet. And one of the things that people look for is how to check out of the rat race, or how to get out of the rat race, or how to escape the rat race, something like that along those lines. And this has created this vacuum on the internet for online scammers to sell you some sort of course, business, something that gives you this hope of escaping the rat race. But really, there's only two ways that I can think of, and if you can think of another one, tell me in the comments below. The only two ways you can really escape the rat race is, number one, become independently wealthy. In other words, you have enough assets to support your lifestyle that you don't need to work a 9-to-5 W-2 job. And this can happen a lot of ways. You could work really hard, build up a company, sell it, become a multimillionaire. You could inherit a bunch of money. However, you come to the point of being independently wealthy, then that gives you the freedom to check out or get out of the rat race. But there's a cautionary tale about the idea of escaping the rat race, and that is a lot of people who think, I would like to just hang around and do nothing all day, don't really understand how boring and meaningless that would get before long. Because all of us were created to do something on this earth. We are all created to have purpose, meaning, value. And that can really only happen when you give of yourself to somebody or to a cause. So even the idea of escaping the rat race is flawed if you don't stop and think about the greater significance of your life and the purpose that you have. Because just having money and freedom of time and all of that sort of stuff, you would probably become pretty miserable pretty fast. I mean, we see these stories all the time in Hollywood of people who are wealthy and famous and have everything that you could ever want in life, and they die young of an overdose, or they're depressed, or whatever the case may be. I guess there's another way that you could potentially escape the rat race, and that is to become a pure minimalist. And what I mean by that is figure out how to structure and organize your life to live on as little as possible. I remember I watched this video several years ago now by another YouTuber who basically went to college, got the dream job with the dream salary. He bought a home in the suburbs, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in the suburbs, all those sorts of things. Had a nice car, went out on the weekends, all that sort of stuff. But he absolutely hated his job. It was like a government job. You could probably still find it on YouTube. Maybe if I find it, I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. And he realized that he did all of the things that you were supposed to do to, quote unquote, have a successful life. He got the job, he got the house, he had a car. I don't think he was married, so he didn't get the girl. But he did everything that you were supposed to do in order to somehow attain this happy lifestyle. And he decided that he was miserable. And he actually ended up selling his house, and he quit that job, and he downsized to like a 1-bedroom apartment where he could work part-time at a grocery store that he could ride his bike to. So he didn't even need a car, really. He could walk or ride a bike to. And then the rest of his time, he just spent with family, friends, whatever. I mean, obviously, if you're not making a lot of money, you can't travel much. But he reduced his lifestyle to the bare minimum. In other words, What's the minimum that I need to get by on? Now, if you're single, you could really downsize. You could really strip yourself of all your wants and really narrow down your needs to the absolute minimum. If you're married like I am, or you have a family like I do, it gets a little bit more nuanced, a little more complicated. But there are certainly more and more people who are doing the second part, who are learning to reduce their wants and minimize their needs and live on less. And for me, at my age, I just turned 50 last year. This makes the most sense at this point in my life. I don't see a path forward where I'm going to become independently wealthy. I don't foresee a windfall anytime soon. So if I can reduce my lifestyle, minimize my wants, minimize my needs, then I can exchange some of that in other places of my life for time. And this has kind of revolutionized my thought process over the last 10 years, because 10 years ago when I turned 40, I was like, oh no, I'm not making enough money. What am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to retire and all that sort of stuff. Well, that's fine, but in some ways, that's not the only thought process that you can have. I didn't realize 10 years ago the power of being a minimalist, the power of reducing your wants and minimizing your needs and learning to live on less, because ultimately we don't know how long we're going to live. And when we die, we take nothing with us. Nothing. Zero, zip, nada. Nothing goes with us. And so I just wanted to maybe share that today. Some of you might be encouraged by that. If you're in a place in your life right now where it's difficult to make ends meet, find the joy in the opportunity that is afforded to you, maybe just to have the luxury of time, maybe to not be a government employee or CEO with tons of demand and pressure on you. Because there is something to be said that if you want to check out of the rat race, get out of the rat race, less may be the key to more. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.